What's good, y'all? What's good? Canelo Alvarez fought last weekend, defeating the undefeated Jaime Mungia in a unanimous decision win in Las Vegas. And, it was a real entertaining fight, in my opinion. Jaime Mungia didn't come to lay down, I guess. You know, he seems to have won the first three rounds, in my opinion. And he got dropped in the fourth round, and that slowed Jaime Mungia down. But Jaime Mungia did let his hands go all throughout the fight. He landed some good shots. He did some good work. But Canelo Alvarez, with the slick head movement and the counter punching and the punch precision, ultimately won the decision. And in my opinion, I think Canelo won that by 8-4. I ain't gonna say 7-5, but he won that by 8-4. I think they only gave Jaime Mungia like 2 rounds or something like that. It was a good fight for the Cinco de Mayo weekend for the Mexican holiday. And, Mungia, I don't really have too much bad to say about him. He was expected to lose. He was actually expected to be knocked out, which he made it all 12 rounds, which was good for him. He put in some good work. He looked like he kind of hurt Canelo in like the ninth or the 10th round in the upper right corner with the straight right hand. Jaime Mungia hit Canelo flush, and Canelo kind of fell back on the ropes a little bit. Looked like he was kind of hurt for a half a second. On fight night when you stun them and it goes in and out, the blinking hurt flash. That's what it kind of looked like. But Canelo recovered, and I think they probably still gave Canelo that round. But like I say, it was an entertaining fight. Jaime Mungia showed good account of himself. It was a good fight to watch compared to the Jamel Charlo fight for sure. What's good, Haplotype? But Canelo, he looked kind of decent in my opinion. But the $1 million question, would I say the $200 million question, is will Canelo fight David Benavidez? It was a little clip that was leaked out that Canelo pointed at David Benavidez and said that he was next, but come to find out, I was listening to the Boxing Voice. It wasn't actually David Benavidez. It was somebody else's team or manager that was like right in front of him. He wasn't even talking to Benavidez. And then when they asked him about him, he's still talking about $200 million up front to fight this man. So some people are optimistic that the fight is next. Man, I just can't say so, man, because that's a ridiculous number. I don't think Floyd Mayweather ever got a guarantee like that to fight somebody. And it's kind of showing the duck tactics of Canelo Alvarez. Yes, in my opinion, I think he's still avoiding David Benavidez. The way it's just the way that he's moving, man, is he's making me believe more and more that Benavidez will stop him, man. That was my original thought. I always thought that Benavidez could beat him real bad ever since like about 3-4 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, they talking about Canelo versus Crawford. I think that's Turkey Al-Rashid trying to pay for the fight. I mean, what is he gonna get paid for Crawford? He ain't finna get 200 million for Crawford, you know. And Canelo said that he don't want to fight Crawford. That was a while ago because he said he won't get no credit because he's too small. And I still feel like that, man. Like, what? Why fight Bud? And you got this multi-$100 million fight with David Benavidez, like right in front of you. All you got to do is press the button, and you got the fight. You know, David Benavidez, he said that he'll take the minimum $5 million to fight Canelo Alvarez, but it's just been such a problem to get that fight made. You know, you gotta blame Canelo. I mean, he's talking about 200 million just to get in the ring. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. You know, if that would that fight even generate that much money? I think that, in my opinion, that's the biggest fight in boxing because you got the biggest ticket seller, Canelo Alvarez, pay-per-view star, and the threat of him being knocked out and stretched out, you know, that sells. And it's not a given that Benavidez could do that to him because, you know, you look at Canelo's skill set, he's got great upper body movement, head movement, torso movement with the counter punching ability. He counters with power. You know, he throws single shots, but you know, a counter punch can sit anybody down. You seen Benavidez, he got dropped by what that was, a jab about 5, 6 years ago. So it's possible that Canelo could do something, but is he willing to? Canelo's about 33 years old. What, you gonna wait till you about 35, 36 to fight this man? Like, that's worse for you. And to be honest, you know, I wouldn't mind Canelo, you know, strategically fighting Benavidez after this fight, with Benavidez moving up to 175, make him shrink back down to 168. If he feels better doing that, I mean, maybe he should do that. Benavidez finna fight Gavostic, who lost to Better Beef, only got one loss in his career, on the Tank Davis and Frank Martin undercard, June 15th. You know, so he's officially pretty much out of the weight class. What's good, Just Do? So, he'll squeeze back down if that fight is on the table for him. You know, maybe that'll even out the age and the miles on Canelo. You know, maybe that'll even that out, you know, with Benavidez having to squeeze back down. Yeah, that's true, man. It's like, it's pretty much now or never. He should be next, man, not Crawford. I know Crawford's finna move up and fight at 154, Israel Madrimov. And then if he was to jump and fight Canelo, that'll only be 2 weight classes compared to 3. But still, man, that's a little man. Like, I can't give you the most credit in the world if you was to beat Crawford. And to be honest, that's probably his only chance against Crawford, the weight advantage. Because he ain't gonna meet Crawford no 164 or nothing like that. You know, he ain't gonna do him no favors. He finna make him come all the way to 168. And you seen how Jamel Charlo looked when he tried to make that jump in one shot. Like, he just couldn't deal with the power. Like, from the first round, he just pretty much survived against Canelo. He was in survival mode. You know. Yeah, man. I think Crawford can beat him, man. But the weight, that's my only problem. The weight and and Crawford moving up all that weight at once. And if he's active in the fight, his gas tank might not be the same, as it was at 147 down to his original weight classes as well. You know, and what's his chin gonna be like? When he fought Earl Spence, he looked like he had a granite chin, but fighting Canelo, that's just a different beast right there. Way more weight. That's my only problem with Crawford in that fight. But as far as skill for skill, yeah, Bud got him. But I think if that fight was to get made, though, I think the bookies would have Crawford like at like a plus 400 or something like that. I think Crawford is the underdog, but why? I wouldn't. You know, I guess Crawford is more of a. You can get more credit fighting Crawford than what he just did for Jaime Mungia. I give him a little bit of credit for Mungia because he didn't come to lay down, and Mungia, is a beast in his own right. But that's another dude moving up, man. Like, wow, what's up with all these little guys? Ever since he signed with PBC, his only two fights is against smaller guys moving up in weight, not even getting acclimated to the weight, just jumping in straight with the undisputed champion. How much success do you expect someone to have in that situation, man? Like, but a lot of people are asking for the Crawford fight, so it's a lot of money or whatever. It's probably comparable money to the Benavidez fight because PBC they was offering Canelo like 50 and 60 for David Benavidez. He probably getting like around that for Crawford too. So he probably gonna pick Crawford over Benavidez, but if he beats Crawford, all I'm gonna say is that he's a small guy moving up. Like why don't you care about? I mean, you ain't gotta care what people think about you in life, but goddamn, man, like every time you fight somebody, that's what we gonna say. Like we can't give you the most credit in the world for beating these guys. Weight matters. If you fight Benavidez, I can't complain about Benavidez moving down from 175 to 168 because nobody told him to go to 175 in the first place. You know, that's a full credit fight, legacy fight. And if he was to get in there and hit Benavidez with something now, even all the Mexican legends, people are gonna change their opinion about Canelo. You know, just off that one fight. But Benavidez is way more danger than Crawford. I don't think Crawford has a lick of a chance of knocking Canelo out. Even with all the sharp counter punching, punch placement that Crawford has, I don't think he can hurt Canelo, man, coming up that far at once. Benavidez is a knockout threat. Bigger man. Canelo hasn't fought a bigger man in a while, man. Since Bivol. Yeah, Bivol was bigger than him on fight night, but maybe Canelo can't beat bigger guys no more. I don't know what his problem is. 200 million for David Benavidez. That's just telling us everything we need to know. But I guess Canelo Crawford, I guess I support that fight too. It is what it is. I'd rock with Bud, whatever. But Bud has got a lot against him going for him. I mean, he got a lot against, going against him in this fight. And plus the judging, Crawford gonna have to outbox Canelo and then win the decision on the cards. Like he's gonna have to be perfect in that fight. He's gonna have to win like 10 rounds, like Bivol did. Bivol won all those rounds, and the scorecards was still 115, 113, 7-5. You know, will Crawford be able to go in there and win 10 rounds? I'm not sure about that because he is the better boxer than Canelo, but Canelo has some skills as well. He can make Crawford miss as well, and land some significant shots to win rounds, you know, from these judges. I think they gave Canelo the second round from Mungia, and all Canelo really did was that straight right hand that snapped Mungia head back. He didn't even do much in that round, and they still gave it to him. That's why. That's why I. That's why Crawford is the underdog in that fight, man. I see the skills, I see the grit, I see all of that, but it's just hard to get a decision against this dude. But I just wanted to jump on this topic right quick. But yeah, he's ducking David Benavidez still to this day. And he's just making it worse and worse for himself. And I don't think he cares. Because if he go the rest of his career and he don't fight Benavidez, he gonna have people defending him and shit. Still saying that he's like the greatest Mexican all time and all that, which is disrespectful, because all the Barreras and the Moraleses, they see through this stuff that Canelo, he can't be the greatest Mexican fighter all time. Like you tell like Marquez them that they liable to punch you in your face, man. For real. Sorry about that. Little internet uh glitchy shit going on. I don't know where that came from. But yeah, a lot of stuff going on in boxing right now. I just wanted to touch on this Canelo Benavidez situation. Canelo still ducking, and I just don't think that fight's next. I can't tell you when Canelo and Benavidez finna fight, man. We uh, we just can't believe it until we actually see them at a press conference. That first announcement, we probably can't even. You probably can't even bank on that. Yeah, Haplo, you can jump on if you want to. I put the links down there. You good if you feel like it. We can rap for a little minute. You there? Or this an old comment? I'll give you a little minute. Yeah, anytime I go live, man, people welcome to jump on. It ain't nothing like that. Cause if I go live, I got time to rap. So all right, man. Looks like Haplo probably might not be around. So I'm gonna highlight y'all boys tomorrow, man. I just said what I had to say. Canelo, the cash cow, is trying to remain the cash cow for as long as possible because he knows if he gets in there with David Benavidez, it's likely coming to an end, especially if Benavidez stops him in style. Man, he's going to be the new, I don't know. See, when you get the big win versus the cash cow, you got to see the next fight after that if you really the new face of boxing. See if those followers and those customers translate to your next fight. And Benavidez is Mexican himself. And, he's got the fan friendly style. He talks good shit. He's willing to fight anybody. Probably can say not David Morrell or whatever, but he's trying to get this Canelo fight. And once he gets this Canelo fight and do what he need to do, I think that he'll probably fight Morrell probably right after that. I could see that. Because you know how it is. You know how it is. You take the money fight before the big 50-50 fight. And that's another thing I wanted to say about Mungia. Mungia before this Canelo fight, he kind of ducked and dodged pretty much all of the top competition. He pretty much ducked all of the top competition before this Canelo fight. Janabek, well, he was ready to fight Jamal Charlo, but there was you already know, man. Jaime Mungia, he was turning down title shots and shit like that. Mungia was ducking before this Canelo fight, but now he got the money, and you know how it is. Once you lose that O, you're ready to fight everybody. You know what I mean? Look at Caleb Plant after the Canelo fight. He got right in there with David Benavidez after a tune-up. And now Caleb Plant is on the heels of Edgar Berlanga. and Jamal Charlo. But Jamal Charlo kind of threw away his boxing career. Yeah, man, the connection, it messed up on me a couple minutes ago, but it's been good now. The link should still work. I don't see what the problem is. But yeah, Caleb Plant, he's with all the smoke right now. Uh, Jamal Charlo, Jamal got stripped, because it's been like over 3 years since he had an official WBC title defense. And he fought on the Benavidez Andre undercard. He fought Jose Benavidez, but that wasn't a WBC title defense. Jamal blew off the weight. I think he came in like 163, 164. So he hasn't defended the belt in over 3 years. And it's, that's weird that he, soon as after he gets arrested, you see the news of him getting stripped, right after that. Maybe the WBC is fed up with him now. So Carlos Adames is the new WBC champ at 160. What's good, Haplotype?
Hey,
Is your mic working?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, cool. Yeah, man, I've never been on the show. Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, man. Anytime, bro. I ain't really picking and choosing like that, man.
Yeah, no, but it's nice, to be invited on. Yeah, man, I was just listening in, and I love to hear what you have to say, and I agree with a lot of it, but there's a lot of nuance to it, the whole Canelo situation and everything else like that. So I just wanted to come on and offer up possibly some differentiating opinions.
Yeah. So you think he's willing to fight Benavidez next? I mean, it makes sense, but I just don't really see it happening right now.
I don't think he wants to fight Benavidez at all.
Ever?
Probably never. Yeah.
And
I think if he does it, he'll be doing it reluctantly.
I think he'll eventually do it, man, because that's just way too much money to pass up. I just don't think it's next, man.
Where are you getting the $200 million figure? Is that coming from what Canelo said, or is that something?
Yeah, they saying that's what he's asking for. You remember he did an interview like what that was about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember that when he said, give me this much money and I'll fight him.
Yeah, but this recent 200 million though, I didn't hear him say that out of his mouth. I seen that on Facebook posts, and I
didn't hear 200 million until you said it. But
yeah.
I think that's a bad trend that's been going on in boxing for a while now. I think it was the first time I heard it, but don't quote me on this, was like when they were way before the Floyd and Pacquiao fight happened. I think Floyd had said something like, give me 100 million and I'll fight him. Or was it him? Or there was someone who said, give me 100 million and I'll fight so-and-so. Maybe it was Lennox Lewis.
Pacquiao.
I think it might have been actually Lennox Lewis. They were talking about him coming back and fighting. He was like, yeah, sure, give me 100 million, I'll come back. But I think that's just something that people say now. I know Floyd said it about Pacquiao also, but I think the first time I heard it was they were trying to coax Lennox Lewis back into, fighting somebody, whoever was champion. Probably one of the Klitschko's at the time.
Oh, hey, you remember Fury? I remember Fury saying he wanted 500 million to fight Usyk. This was this was about 3-4 months ago, like before the fight, before the fight actually got made.
I think that was before he even fought in Ghana. Trend. It's a dumb trend of like fighters just spouting off, saying shit like that. Like, yeah, I'll fight him. Give me, way more than, you're
That he
ever going to
knows.
make.
Yeah,
There's no way Canelo's ever going to get $200 million for fighting Benavidez. First of all, Benavidez doesn't draw. like, when has
yeah,
he ever drawn? This is why these guys are sitting back, like you were saying before. Mungia waited around for Canelo and didn't really fight anybody. Benavidez has kind of done the same thing. If you think about it, Benavidez was at 168 with the belt. Wasn't he a PBC fighter at the time?
yeah. Him and the Plant fight took a
Yeah,
while.
yeah. Before Canelo even came in the division, they were both champions, weren't they? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I remember the promoters say, or the WBC say that that fight wasn't ready yet, or something like that.
That's dumb. If they both have titles, like they could have. Look, Benavidez, this is why I don't feel sorry for Benavidez. Okay? I'm not saying that I don't want to see the fight between him and Canelo. I'd love to see it. I love fights. I'm a fight fan. I'll watch any fight. And I think that's a good fight. I want to see it. But the reason why I don't feel sorry for Benavidez is because he could have fucking forced that fight to happen. He could have unified before Canelo even came to that division. He could have made it so Canelo couldn't go to that division without seeing him. And instead, what he did was sit there, not fight Plant, not unify with Saunders, not try to fight any of those other champions, sit there complacently. And then on top of that, he was fucking, obviously doing drugs and partying too much and fucked up and lost his belt twice. So I don't feel sorry for Benavidez. I feel sorry for the fight fans who got fucked out of that fight. And I don't think it'll ever happen again.
But yeah, I know that he overweight, lost the belt, did some dope and lost the belt, but I don't think that even guarantees him the fight if he held on to the belt, because Canelo, he did it at 160. He got 3 belts and he hauled ass when Andrade was in his prime and holding the last belt. You know, you don't think
Right,
he could have did
right.
the same thing?
but I don't think he could have gone up to 168. I'm not saying just if Benavidez had one belt. I'm saying if Benavidez had been on his shit instead of partying and doing cocaine or whatever the fuck he was doing, he could have unified with Plant. It should have been an easy fight to make. They're both on the same promotion, right? So he
Yeah,
could have, if he had 2 belts, there's no way Canelo can move up and not fight him.
yeah,
So
but
that's on Benavidez though.
yeah, but if you ask him though, every time I seen Benavidez, he was calling out Plant, like he made it seem like it wasn't his fault, and I think it was like an interview about 3 4 years ago, like 3 years ago. It was damn. I don't remember if it was Suleiman or it was Samson. I think they didn't want that fight to happen at that time. I think like they were trying to build that up,
Well,
and then
he could say that now, but the thing is, he wasn't thinking, because you had Canelo who was going to move up. We all knew he was going to move up to 168 at some point, right? And he's there with the title, and he could have headed him off at the pass. Like, make sure this guy has to see you when you come to this division. But instead of that, he fucked it off. And like, okay, we could say, yeah, he lost his belt, 2 times, but it was, blah, blah, blah. But you're making excuses for the guy now. He shouldn't have lost his belt at all. So, I'm saying I want to see the fight, but I just don't feel sorry for David Benavidez at all.
so you think Benavidez should just go ahead and fight Morrell now, huh?
I think he should have fought anybody and everybody at 168. That why are you? I don't get this philosophy of boxers now. I guess it comes from, I don't know. I don't want to blame Floyd for everything in the world, but I feel like ever since his era, There are fighters that will just sit waiting to get their fucking lottery ticket instead of building their own resume. Like if Benavidez, imagine if Benavidez had done this before Canelo's even in the division. He doesn't lose his belt on the scale. He doesn't lose his belt to cocaine. He just runs through the division like Canelo did, beating all the champions, and now he's the undisputed guy at 168. Then Canelo moves up. Who does he have to see? Benavidez. Right?
Yeah, as soon as Canelo mentioned 168, that's when everybody held off.
Yeah, everyone started
because they knew he was coming.
They all started tucking their fucking tails, bro. Like, oh, well, maybe I'll get the shot at Canelo. Like, but how did Canelo become Canelo? How did Floyd become Floyd? They didn't just wait around to get the cash cow. Like Floyd didn't just wait for Oscar his entire career and not fight anybody. You know what I'm saying? Who has Benavidez beaten?
I give Canelo that. Canelo was a dog before the Floyd fight. He fought a decent amount of people. You look at his resume.
He had titles. He had titles and everything. Yeah, and he never lost them up until that point. I know he lost one later for the drug testing, right?
Yeah.
But he at that point he had never lost a title. He had been undefeated. He'd fought, whoever they put in front of him. That's how guys build into good careers, like Pacquiao, Floyd, Canelo. Like that's how you become the cash cow, not by waiting around for the cash cow to fight you, but by fighting everybody they put in front of you and just doing your job.
Yeah, but listen, Canelo before the Floyd fight, he still was a star. He still was one of those guys you drop everything for and fight. You know what I mean? Like the Trouts and the Cottos and people like that. They still he still was a big fight in their eyes. When he fought Floyd and lost, that's when he like kind of became the cash cow because Floyd was on the way out. Benavidez, and but back then Benavidez was super low reward, high risk. You gonna get your ass beat for like $50,000, man.
He's still super low reward and high risk because
but he's pay-per-view fighter now. You can get a couple million fighting him. I'm pretty sure Andrade probably got over $1 million.
Yeah.
But still, why fight him for $1 million and I could just wait on Canelo and get at least $5 million? You know what I mean?
But I think that mentality is the problem in boxing. Like if you're not getting
everybody do that.
I think they got to think more like along the lines of, look, I want this fight with Floyd, Canelo, Pacquiao, whoever is the cash cow, Oscar, but I have no guarantee of getting that. So let me just do my best to force them to fight me. In other words, like you got to beat everybody that they like might cherry pick. Like Benavidez should have been thinking like, oh, Canelo might move up to 168. Who would he pick out of these guys to try to cherry pick a title? Let me fight that guy now before he comes. He could have gone, I don't know if he thinks he could have beaten, what was the guy he beat for the first title, that British dude? Callum Smith. Was it Callum Smith?
Yeah. So Canelo beat.
I think if Canelo's coming up here, he's going to go for this guy because he knows he can beat him. Let me go beat him so he doesn't have that shot. You know what I'm saying?
But look, though, when Benavidez heard he was coming up, everybody else heard that. So they not finna give Benavidez no shot before Canelo. We finna hold our belts for Canelo.
I'm not saying when he said it. I'm saying before he said it. Just anticipating. You know what I'm saying? Like anticipating that, all right, this guy's at 160 now. He's cleaning out 160. Eventually, I think he's probably going to come up here. Didn't he jump up and fight, what's his
Kovalev.
face? The Kovalev at 175 before he moved to 168?
Yeah.
That should have been the clue right there, bro. Oh, he
Yeah,
just
when
moved
he
up.
instead of fighting Andrade, he fought Kovalev.
Right. So that should have been an indicator like, oh shit, this guy's coming to 168. Like, let me get on this shit right now and force him to fight me. I want that payday, you know? But they're playing checkers, not chess, bro.
Yeah, man. Like, yeah, that's why I kind of don't like Canelo, man, because he's kind of holding everybody up, man. If Benavidez was to fight him and win, I know that Morrell fight is gonna come like soon after that, because it ain't much else to go. And when he went up and fought Kovalev, I knew for sure he wasn't finna fight no better beef. Or he was talking with Bivol for a little bit. He was talking to Bivol for like a couple years before he actually fought him. Bivol turned down something or whatever, and Canelo had went a different way, and then he ended up double backing and fighting Bivol. But yeah, I feel what you mean, man. It's like, mm, I don't think it's much Benavidez could have done, man, because Callum Smith was on the zone. I think that side of the street shit is real, man. Because you seen when soon as Bud couldn't get the Spence fight, and as soon as he signed with the PBC, he got it. You know, got it. And
Yeah.
Caleb Plant. He had Caleb Plant, Callum Smith, Billy Joe was on the zone too. You remember Andrade? He couldn't get Billy Joe in the ring either. I think they was locked in, and Billy Joe, he had to do that on purpose because everybody
What
knew Canelo.
the nasal spray thing?
Yeah,
Yeah. That was unfortunate. That would have been a good fight, I think, honestly. Billy Joe versus Andrade at 168. Yeah.
yeah, man. It's
When he wore the puffy pirate shirt.
mhm.
That shit was funny as hell.
That's why, man. We need a cash cow that's just not gonna duck, man. And as far as history, man, that person is hard to find.
Well, I think, all right, you want examples? I think Oscar didn't duck. I think Ali didn't duck. I think Sugar Ray Leonard didn't really duck at times. He may have drawn things out at certain points in his career, but I don't think he really ducked. And also Pacquiao, I don't think he
Oh yeah,
ducked.
of course, the Pacquiao. Yeah, De La Hoya too. But like, man, it's just fading out now. Like Tank should be fighting Shakur Stevenson, but since they made so much money with the Tank and Ryan fight, they just gonna try to make a way to do that fight again. And he acknowledged the fight. He said that he'll fight Ryan at 140 again with all those killers there. He gonna move up to 140, probably fight and beat Ryan. He's gonna go right back down to 135, probably not fight Shakur Stevenson. It's like the sport is just too much about money. Like if boxing was really like a tournament style, like a real like the rest of these sports, man, boxing would be top three. Boxing would be probably right behind the NFL and the NBA.
Well, it was the number one sport in America for a long time when it was like that. The
Mhm.
reason why it's not anymore is the confusion. Like, have you ever? I'm not sure. I don't know you that well, but have you ever like tried to talk to people who aren't like hardcore fans and explain to them like why they're four champions and everything else like that?
Yeah, a couple times I did, but
And
not much.
you could see in their face as soon as you start explaining that shit,
They confused.
they're confused and not interested.
Hmm.
They want to know like, okay, Ali's the champion. That's what they want to know. But as soon as you get to telling them like, oh well, at let's see, what weight class can I give an example with? At heavyweight, Usyk, he has the WBA, WBC, and IBF belts, but then Tyson Fury has the lineal and the WBC belt, and this is why. And they're like halfway through that sentence, they're already like, "All right, let me watch basketball or something else." They're like,
Hmm.
go over it, bro. Like, no one wants to hear that shit, bro.
Yeah, I'm glad Fury and Usyk for the fight this month too. Matter of fact, that fight is on the 18th, ain't it? That's like less than 10 days away.
Yeah, that's gonna be good, man.
I'll be
Who you?
first undisputed heavyweight in like 20 years.
Unless it's a
Oh no.
draw. Unless it's a draw, don't put a curse on it.
Yeah, man. I think Usyk can pull it off. Is if he can deal with the leaning of Tyson Fury, because I think they both get tired. But man, if Usyk guys that has a game plan when Fury leans on them and stuff, I think that he can pull it off, man. I think he can outbox him. But I think Fury is ultimately like the favorite. I don't think Fury's like a huge favorite, but he's the favorite to beat Usyk. But I think Usyk can win, so I'll
so,
pick Usyk.
so you're picking Usyk.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
could,
think
I could
Usyk
see
can win.
why. I mean, Usyk has been somewhat more consistent than Fury in terms of discipline. Well, definitely more consistent in terms of discipline mentally. But physically, we've seen some moments with Usyk, like when he got hit with that body shot and stayed down forever, and the "You Can Dream" fight. You remember
Yeah,
that one?
the Dubois fight, man. But
You
I
can
don't think
dream,
Fury.
you can dream. That one.
I don't think Fury is the best like body puncher like that. Fury ain't no body puncher like that. Fury is got a good jab. He's gonna 1-2 the hell out of your ass all night. You know
It's
he
funny
can
because
box, but I don't think he can
Fury.
outbox Usyk.
There are certain fighters, right, that fluctuate. I would say Tio is one of them too, where one fight they may look fucking like invincible, and then the next one they look terrible. And I think Fury is one of those guys, and I think it has to do with the lack of discipline. I'm gonna say, assuming that Fury is coming into this fight taking it very seriously, that he should be able to win. He can fight in various different ways that will work against Usyk. But if he comes in fat, sloppy, and just trying to rely on his size, I think he loses.
Yeah, I think he's gonna try to bully Usyk. I think Fury only can probably knock this man out. I don't think he can win on points unless he, of course, knock him down 2, 3 times. But
Well, we haven't seen it in a while, but Fury is definitely capable of stick and move. Look what he did to Klitschko. Look what he did to other guys like that, where he was moving and dancing. Like, for a big guy, he can move good. So if he wants to fight the whole fight on the outside and just keep Usyk on the end of a jab, he could do that, but he has to be training and like ready for that. Then on the inside, I think there's no one dirtier than Fury in the heavyweight division. Like, he'll slip in that uppercut like he did against Wilder, where the ref can't see it and you're just boom right underneath, like tie him up, lean on him. So in the inside and the outside, I think Fury has the advantages if he's in shape, which is a big if. But in the mid range, that's Usyk's game.
yeah, I think Fury dominate if the fight's on the inside. But man, I think man, if because he got Sugar Hill Stewart, man, they looking at Usyk like He's a cruiserweight. He ain't shit. Just walk him down and maul him. I think if Fury comes forward, he'll get picked apart. I think so, man. Usyk on that back foot ain't no joke, man. He's one of the best like big man like outs like boxers. Like he'll outbox your ass. He came
Yeah, but
straight up.
he can't outbox Fury though, because Fury is just way longer. If it's an outboxing fight, I think Fury wins. Usyk needs to figure out a way to stay in the mid range without getting tied up, and if he can do that, he'll win. But Fury just has a lot of wrinkles to his styles, man. We've seen him box, on the back foot. We've seen him box on the inside. I've never really seen him in a mid-range war where he won, but I don't know, man. It's a tough fight if Fury's in shape. Now, the best thing for Usyk is if Fury's been partying and fucking around like he did before the Ngannou fight. If Fury's doing that, then Usyk has a great chance. But if Fury's in shape,
No, I
man,
don't think he is. I think Fury is locked in.
I hope he is, because that'll make it a better fight for us fans.
Yeah. Yeah, are
I
you
don't.
right? I mean, I don't know. Fury on the back foot. I think Usyk can figure that out, man. I think Usyk has faster hands and feet. I don't think
But
Fury can
but does he
dance
have the
around Usyk.
power? Like, okay, so let's look at Wilder versus Fury one, right? Um, Fury went into that fight ready to fight on the back foot all night, and he did a good job of it. But Wilder had that one hitter quitter to get to Fury's chin, to get him down on the canvas and almost knock him out. I don't think Usyk has that.
Yeah, of course he don't have that. But what I learned from Anui Fulton, Crawford Spence, man, you don't know who's gonna out jab who for sure until they get in there, man. Because I was for sure that Fulton and Spence was gonna out jab those two guys, and they just dominated.
Right. Well, with with the Crawford versus Spence fight, everyone was doing the ratings. Remember when everyone was going down the list? It's like, who has the better jab, right? And everyone said
Mm.
Spence, like for the
Yeah,
most
I
part.
thought it was no way that Crawford could out jab Spence.
But here's why
Outbox him to that degree.
here's why I said Crawford had the better jab, because you're only counting one jab from each guy. If you're saying Spence has the better jab, you're talking about a left jab, right? Or
I think it's a right jab. Spence fights
right jab. I'm
southpaw.
sorry, southpaw. Right, you're talking about his right jab. But Crawford, his right jab may not be as good as Spence's right jab, but he also has a left jab. So you're talking about a guy who has a good jab in both stances versus a guy who has a good jab in one stance. So
Yeah,
I
and
was
I
like,
knew I knew Crawford was going to come out southpaw. I knew it, man.
yeah,
I knew it,
yeah.
and that's exactly what he did, man. Man, Crawford, that was a masterclass, man. That's gonna be classic. Like
Oh,
Bud will
that's a
always be,
signature win.
yeah,
Signature
he
win.
will always be remembered for that fight, man. No way I thought that fight was going to play out like that. The jab, see, I thought Spence was going to win by decision because of the jab and the work rate. Like Spence was just way too slow, man. He was getting countered, and that shit is true, man. A good counter puncher, he gonna slow down your work rate. Shit, we seen that this weekend. Jaime Mungia throwing everything at Canelo first 3 rounds. Soon as Canelo counted him real good and put him on his ass, Jaime Mungia had to think. He had to think 2, 3 times before he came in. That work rate went down, even though he did throw a good amount of punches, you know. But a good counter puncher, he's gonna slow down the pressure fighter.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of boxing is, rock, paper, scissors style. Like, paper beats rock, rock beats scissors, like that's
And
what
the,
makes it fun.
and another thing why I compare those two fights probably to Usyk and Fury, Anui Fulton and Spence Crawford, because what is Anui and Bud? They were the smaller guy moving up, and they were faster. You know, they had faster hands and feet,
Right.
especially with Anui. I did not see that coming. He outboxed the boxer. I thought Fulton was unoutboxable. That man was the master boxer before Nui came.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough to predict when you got guys that are that good and like they've never fought anybody like the other guy.
Mm.
But I liken Fury more to Crawford than Spence. I understand that Usyk is the guy who moved up, but he's been there for a while now. He's a heavyweight now. To me, the switch hitting, the getting into it at an early age and having all the experience and having all being able to adjust and everything. I think Fury in that sense is better than Usyk.
Oh
Usyk has
yeah, yeah.
Usyk has relied. Usyk to me is more not completely, but more in like the Roy Jones category, where he relies on athleticism and and that where Fury is just he's got all kinds of different ways to win a fight. I think he just has way more ways to win a fight than Usyk does.
Yeah,
But
and that guy usually does win, but
but
I don't
but
know,
that
man.
all
Fury,
depends on him being in shape. And the problem with Fury is he's so undisciplined, and you never know if which fight he's going to get up for and which one he hasn't. But up till now, the big fights like this one, he's always
he
gotten
cannot
up for them.
afford to take. He cannot afford to take this fight lightly. He's
Yeah, he
gonna lose,
cannot. Yeah,
man.
if he does that, he's done. He's cooked.
When he couldn't lean on Ngannou, and you seen how that fight looked. I really don't think he lost because after he hit the canvas, he boxed Ngannou, and he I think he clearly outboxed him. But I'd be trolling Fury, so I was with everybody. Yeah, Ngannou won, Ngannou,
A,
but I knew
a
I
lot of
knew I
people
knew
hate
Fury didn't
Fury,
win.
and I get why. He's obnoxious. People don't like
Hmm.
obnoxious people. He'll say one thing one day and do the other thing the next. Like I get it. Like people don't like
Yeah,
him,
yeah. I
but
like to hate on Fury, but I know what the hell I'm looking at. I know Fury.
he's
Fury is
good,
is
man.
good. He's fucking good,
He's
but
good, and he's a
I
fucking
just like to
problem,
troll
dude.
Fury. Me and
He's a
Fury got the same
problem.
birthday.
Oh, for real? What's
Yeah,
that?
August 12th.
Leo's. I'm a Leo too,
Hmm.
but I'm a
And
July July
when I
baby.
and that's how I am. If I'm like one of the best at something, like with out of all my friends, I'm an asshole about it. I'm talking shit. I see a lot of myself in Fury, but
Right.
you know I was a
But may,
Wilder fan.
but maybe so was I. I was a huge Wilder fan.
Yeah,
Very
and to be honest,
I'm still a Wilder fan.
yeah, yeah, I am. But I talked
I
all that shit with Wilder, and I kind of knew Wilder was going to lose the third fight.
The thing that
I
made
was
me
just
back
like,
off from being like such a huge Wilder fan was after the second fight, how he reacted to that. I didn't think
yeah,
that was justifiable.
that shit went on for 2 years, man.
Yeah, it
And
was
with the
too much.
LDBC really pushing that shit out there like that. That was the biggest topic in boxing, like over like the last like 5 years, man. That jump was a bigger topic than Spence Crawford for a while too. was some wild times on the internet. But I knew Wilder was finna lose that third fight, man. I could tell by the energy building up to that third fight.
Yeah,
All that
it
shit
was the
talking.
excuses. Yeah, the excuses and whining and firing
Mm,
Breland. You know, you don't fire the guy who like basically made you. You know, like
yeah,
Breland.
and then you hear that they was exposing each other. They was like, oh, Wilder really never listened to Breland in training camp. Breland was scared to tell Wilder he was wrong. That's why
But he
Wilder only
shouldn't have
got the
been.
right
He
hand.
shouldn't have been. He shouldn't have been. If that was the case, he should have quit. So I blame him for that. But
Yeah, and,
Breland's style, if you blow it up to heavyweight, would be the perfect style for fucking Wilder. Breland
mm,
knew how to fucking execute that style. And that's when he had all his success, man, under Breland. Like, I
yeah,
don't care about JDs and all these other fucking people he has around him, bro. That Breland style was the style that made fucking Wilder. And he should have stuck with him, man. But, when he fucked over Breland, and yeah, of course, Breland's going to come back and talk shit about him too after he gets thrown under the bus. But I blame Wilder for that, man. You can't say till this day and then fire the guy who made you.
yeah. And I don't really like Malik Scott like that, man. Everybody in the lead up to the third fight, how you go hire somebody you knocked out and all that stuff. I ain't want to listen to that shit, but that shit is kind of true. And Malik Scott, he a yes man too. Wilder do not need a yes man, but it's too late in his career now, man. Wilder is Wilder now. He's 37 years old. You can't really teach him much now. He is what he is. And he lost to Joseph Parker. He in there trying to outbox the boxer.
Yeah, that loss to Joseph Parker was stupid, man. He should have gone in
Yeah.
there looking for that shot and fucking knocked him the fuck out, man. That is the worst. Like losing to Fury, okay, that's one thing. But Joseph
Mm-hmm.
fucking Parker, dude, letting him fucking outbox you like that, making you look old, like you're done, that decreased his value more than any of the Fury losses, in my opinion.
Yeah, and, I'm afraid he might try the same thing with Zane, man, trying to show that he can box and all that, man. He I'm not just gonna straight up bash Wilder, but I'm not sure if Wilder finna beat Zane, man. Like, cause if you on your back foot all night trying to box and stuff like that, he ain't even really boxing. Like he just like defensive, like pawing at him with the jab. Like he ain't even really throw the right hand at Joseph Parker like that until it was desperation time. And then in the championship rounds, he know what you're gonna try to do. Just straight right hands, like no looping. No, Zane got the looping right hand. Zane got the straight left. Like,
The only thing look, I don't know how much Wilder has left, man, after that fucking Joseph Parker loss, and like ever since the third Fury loss, he's been on some mentally fucked up shit, man. I liked Wilder when Wilder was himself,
yeah,
seek and
but
destroy. Like I got this fucking, you got to be perfect the whole fight. I got to be perfect for 10 seconds.
mm-hmm.
I like that Wilder, that focused Wilder. Like, he's ever since he made a lot of money, like he's sort of disappointed me. And then, not look, I still like him inside the ring, and I like what he did for his daughter. That was the main thing that made me like him, like how he stepped up to take care of his family.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made me root for him. He's American. He's a good heavyweight. He can hit. He stepped up for his kid. Like those things. But now I got to think about, oh, he fucking sold out his trainer, and he fucked his brother's wife, and like, come on,
Oh
bro.
yeah, I remember that. They
Like
said that. That was like
now
a month ago or something like that.
the morality thing has gone out the fucking window, bro. For me liking Wilder, and like it became harder and harder to like defend the guy.
Yeah, man. And bro, if he beats Zhang, he gotta fight Jared Anderson next. Like they trying to retire this dude.
I think Jared Anderson is a sucker for that right hand, bro. If Wilder could still deliver it though.
Yeah, I mean, he should be in good condition if he beats Zhang. If he beats Zhang, then yeah, he'll be the favorite over Jared Anderson.
The thing he has going for him with Zhang is speed, bro. Zhang is a fucking slow motion fighter, bro. If
Yeah.
he needs to be training for fucking speed. Zhang's punches are all hook, looping. He's slow. He's kind of lumbering. Wilder's a lot lighter on his feet. I think he can beat Zhang, but the problem is he's old and like he's been through wars now, and like how much does he really have left?
Mm. I think in order to get that knockout with Zhang, he gonna have to punch with Zhang. He gonna have to punch with him. He gonna have to beat him to the punch. That's how you get that knockout.
Yeah, like that super. Like, did you see how quick that punch was when he fought Hellenius? When he was coming in, he was like, boop!
Yeah,
like
you got to
a
catch
fraction
that
of a second.
Zhang coming in.
Coming in, or just like being slow.
Yeah. Hellenius, you seen when he hit him, Hellenius was trying to throw a punch. That's how you got to catch Zhang.
Yeah, it was so quick, man. It just boom, it landed, and it took Hellenius a second to even register that it landed. It was that fast.
I ain't gonna lie, man. The more I think about Wilder's career, I don't know how I would be, man. I'm coming up the ranks and I'm knocking out all these dudes with a straight right hand. How is he supposed to act? It's a man, you gotta be Floyd Mayweather disciplined to wanna build on top of that. You walking in the ring and you got true one punch knockout power. You gonna feel like you ain't gotta do shit either.
That's the puncher's dilemma. Same thing happened to Tyson, bro. I call it the puncher's dilemma, right? So you got Tyson, who was training his ass off for years, man. Super training like crazy. And then, he becomes champion and he realizes, like, why am I training so hard? Like, every time I hit one of these guys, they just fucking fall down. He stopped training so hard. But at least he had that background of really training in all these different ways and learning everything. Wilder never had that from a young age. He started off, in his 20s. So he basically like relied on that and that alone. So,
Wilder.
when it didn't work, as soon as it didn't work, he was done.
Yeah, that's all he knew. Wilder is a failed basketball player. Wilder didn't start boxing until he was already grown when he started boxing.
Yes, in his 20s. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say, I don't know about his basketball career, but I mean, I wouldn't say he's a failure, but I would say that, yeah, I mean, look, Floyd had to develop those skills, right? Because he didn't have the one punch power. He never had that one punch power. I don't care if it was at, people say he was, pretty boy Floyd at this point, and then he became money. Like, he never had like the one hitter quitter like Wilder did. And if you have that, it kind of like just makes you think like, okay, this is all I need. Why work my ass off to develop all these other skills? Like Wilder wasn't going to learn the Philly shell. He's like, I'm just going to hit you. I'm just going to hit you and you're done.
And Floyd was literally born to box. Like his daddy, when he was a little boy, like they started training him when he was like 4. Like his daddy told the people, this is going to be the greatest fighter of all time.
And his dad was a defensive fighter first.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until his uncle took over that he really started focusing on offense.
Yeah. Them Pretty Boy Floyd fights, man, fucking savage, man. The 126, the 130 and all that, he was destroying those dudes. Like, he was offensive back then. But as you move up in weight, that power fades, and Floyd had the hand problems and stuff, so he had to become just a straight boxer, you know.
Well, the thing was that he developed defensive skills first from his dad, because his dad was his mentor from the beginning. So, his dad was more of a defensive fighter. Then when his dad went away and he was, working with his uncle was more of an offensive fighter. So he developed that too. And that was like the culmination of, the father and the uncle and all their skills going into this kid. And that's when he became Pretty Boy Floyd. So he could do both. He had offense and defense. But as he moved up in weight, he never really had outsized power. So he had, but he had all the skills in the world and he had okay power. So he can get guys out of there, but it was never like, oh, I could just sit back and, eat donuts and fucking go into the fight and win on one punch. So
Yeah.
he had to stay disciplined. So, that's the good part of Floyd. He had it all. He had the offense, the defense, but he just never had that. I think it's a curse almost when you have that much power.
Yeah.
Like people just sit back and rely on it. Look what happened to Tyson, bro.
Yeah. Tank, Tank, he he's like one of the only fighters at 135 with one punch knockout power. But, you know, nowadays, like I say, since about, let me see, like a couple fights before the Ryan Garcia fight, like he's starting to get like real disciplined too. Like he's not even blowing up in between fights. Tank damn near 135 right now. Like that's dangerous, man. Like his camps, he not even worrying about cutting weight. He's working on skills, man. And that's how fighters supposed to be, man. That's why I think Tank probably can go really far, but he needs to fight for actual titles though. Like he's too skilled. Like he's on nobody's pound for pound list. Like I think he I think he might be on BoxRec's top 10, but as far as like networks and stuff, he ain't on nobody's pound for pound list. You know? I think he's wasting it by not fighting for belts. We need that Shakur Stevenson fight like really soon, man. I just don't think it's a good look that he might give Ryan two fights before he give Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney. Well, of course, the Devin Haney fight is out the window now with the loss and all that, but he's got to fight Shakur Stevenson like really soon. And I don't think he's going to fight him before Ryan Garcia because he's so worried about money. If you move up and fight Ryan Garcia at 140 and beat him again, I mean, you're going to get a bunch of money, but you ain't going to get no legacy for it like that. He ain't no champion up there.
Sorry, I lost you for a second. You're talking about Shakur?
No, I was mainly talking about Tank, that he needs to
Oh,
fight
Tank.
Shakur, man. Like,
Didn't
because I
Shakur
think,
retire? Did he come back?
no, yeah, he's back. He's finna fight the dude Frank fought last that gave Frank all that trouble.
Oh, oh, I see. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
know about that.
he really he really can't afford to look like how he did in this last fight again. He's really ain't gonna get the Tank fight, even though I'm against that. Oh, you gotta look good, you gotta do this and that to get that fight because he's a champ and all that. But Man, if he go in there and look like that again, especially at this being the last top ranked fight on this deal and stuff, like he ain't gonna get the Tank fight. That junk just be making me like disgusted that this junk is just all about business and not about like, fighting who you supposed to fight, man. Like for real.
Yeah, that's it. I think one of the things that is contributing to what you're talking about is the fact that Tank hasn't really staked a claim at any weight class yet. Like, um, he's got what does he have? The Reggie belt at 135. Does he still have that?
Now he got elevated to the real title after Haney left.
Hey, he moved up. Oh, okay. So hey, Tank has the WBA Super at 135.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah. And
And,
we don't really care about unifying like that. See, he wanted to be the money man this and money man that. See, Floyd was the money man, but he also was number one pound for pound for a very long time.
yeah, he
Because
also fought a lot more. Okay, so Tank, you know, Tank has a few good wins. Good wins. He doesn't have any signature wins, unless you want to count Ryan Garcia, who never had a title as a signature win. But I mean, that was at a catchweight. Like, he's not. I understand these guys are like, fuck the weight classes. I'll do whatever I want. Like, but like you're saying, like you gotta be consistent and establish yourself somewhere first. Floyd did it at 130. Floyd did it at 135. And then on and on and on from there. And then later, he became the guy who could, catch weight Canelo at 152.
Mhm.
But that was after he had many, many, many accolades that these guys don't have. They all want to be Floyd and Oscar before they've done anything. Like, look at Ryan Garcia. Like, people look at him as like the next Oscar, right?
Mhm.
But by the time Oscar was his age, bro, he had a gold fucking medal and like 7 titles. This
Yeah,
guy's got zero fucking titles, bro.
Ryan is not even really a 140 pounder, man, because his last 2 3 fights he weighed in at 143 and stuff
Yeah,
like that. Like
Ryan weight. They're
yeah,
not gonna
like
make a new fucking weight class for you, no matter how many Twitter followers you have, bro, or Instagram, whatever the fuck it is.
those guys like Tank and Ryan probably really ain't even Hall of Famers right now. I know Ryan ain't.
Oh, neither one of them is, not by a long shot, bro. I
Yeah,
mean,
they ain't even Hall of Famers.
give me a okay. Let's say he came in at 140 and beat Devin Haney. That would be a signature win. But
Hmm.
not only did he not come in at 140 and not get the title, but then he got popped. So that's not a signature win. It's probably going to be changed to a no contest at least, you know, and Haney will go back to being undefeated, even though he took all that damage anyway. But like, Ryan to me is nowhere near Hall of Fame. Neither. Tank is a little better than Ryan. Tank has a couple better wins than Ryan does, but he's no Hall of fucking Famer. What the fuck has he done?
Yeah, I don't think he's ever been like a true unified champ. Like he's got like a couple of real titles, but
Right,
he
and then
never
he moved
unified the
around.
rest of
Yeah, he's playing the money game. They're in it for the money, bro. They don't care about that. That's why they won't be in the Hall of Fame. Crawford will be in the Hall of Fame. That's
it.
somebody who has a legacy. You know, 2-time undisputed, first time 2-time undisputed in the 4 belt era. You know, He solidified, and even Haney to me has uh, a better case for Hall of Fame than Tank or Ryan, because he's the youngest undisputed. He went over to Australia for the first time since fucking Jack Johnson beat whatever his name was over there for the title. Brought all the titles home to America. Like, to me, Devin Haney has a better Hall of Fame resume than Tank or Ryan.
Yeah, especially with that undisputed. But yeah, this junk crazy,
Undisputed
man.
and defending
Crazy.
it twice. Undisputed and defending it twice. Don't forget, he beat Lomachenko too.
Hmm. But yeah, it's crazy how boxing is run did it today. Like they think that they benefiting themselves, these promoters and stuff, like putting the people in there with the most followers, making them fight each other. Like they think that that's just helping them so much, but people ain't watching like that. People just not watching like that, you know? That's why I kind of wish we was in that era with the one belt and all of that. No regular titles, just like how Sugar Ray Robinson them went through one belt, forced these damn fights.
Well, there was never really one belt, but I know what you're saying. Like, one champion, you know, where it was like, even in Sugar Ray Robinson's era, they had
Yeah, lineal.
the ring belt. No, the ring isn't lineal, but they had the ring belt, I believe, and they had the was it WBA? I forget what year. Might have been the WBA already, because WBA was established in 1943, I believe. But they also had the NSAC, the New York State Athletic Commission. So there were still unifications and stuff back then. There were multiple titles, but it was much clearer when you had a champion, he was the champion. The one
Yeah, I didn't know
champion
that.
era. Yeah, yeah. It's always been a muddle of different. Oh my God, there's a bunch of fucking cop cars. Something must be going on up here. I'm going to go on mute real quick so you don't hear it.
Yeah, but yeah, man. And at this rate, just boxing just ain't gonna never really be a tournament style sport. So it's just a lot of people ain't gonna be watching like that unless they just know the two names, the casuals. Like casuals is the most important in the sport now. And that's just why boxing is like barely even top 10 in the USA when it should be, you know. I really like boxing.
Oh,
Boxing,
it's a second tier sport, no doubt. Like, maybe even third tier. Like, I don't
yeah,
even know.
they
Like,
put on college women's basketball on before they put boxing.
right. So that would tell you it's like probably a third tier sport, because, back in the day, and I know people hate hearing that, especially younger guys, like, oh, you always say back in the day. But at a certain point, boxing was number one or number two. And it was
Mhm.
like, it was bigger than the NFL, you know, at a certain point. But, the independence of boxing, right? Because in boxing, there's no league, there's no one body that ever really controls it, except for like maybe the mafia and like the 50s and 60s. Like, at that time, boxing was huge because there was one entity kind of controlling it, but it was never a legitimate entity. It was the mafia. So, it's always been like disparate. Like, you could be with Top Rank, you could be with Golden Boy, you could be with Matchroom, you could be with these various different promotional companies. Then you've got networks, various different networks that can pick up or lead boxing. Like HBO was the big boxing platform for the longest time, and then now they're not doing any boxing. So, like, it's not like being in an NFL where it's all controlled by one entity, and that makes it simple for people to follow, right? There's this many teams, this many games, and every year you get a Super Bowl, you know? So for boxing, that's the problem. And I don't really see any big solution to that problem.
Yeah, when back when Muhammad Ali was fighting and doing exhibitions and stuff, like did you see them numbers he was doing? Like he was doing like
Oh,
3.5 billion views, like
yeah,
and stuff like that.
worldwide. He was a beneficiary of when satellite came in and closed circuit, and like there weren't that many channels to watch, there weren't that many things to distract you from it, and he was a charismatic guy. He captivated everybody, whether you liked him or hated him. You were tuning in because there wasn't that much shit to watch. It wasn't just exhibitions, it was just like he had unification fights. For instance, like when he was champion before the whole Vietnam thing, the WBC was established, right? And when the WBC was established, they created their own heavyweight title and they gave it to Ernie Terrell, who never fought Ali up until that point, and he had to unify with Ernie Terrell to become the undisputed champion at that point. So like the whole sanctioning bodies and different bodies has always been there. It was just a little bit simpler at that time, and you had a guy like Muhammad Ali who would go out there and beat the fuck out of anybody who had any claim at the championship. But then they stripped him, they gave it to Frazier, and they gave other titles to other people, and so the rest of his career was about recapturing that shit. But no, he was undisputed. He was the man, bro. And everybody knew who he was. He was the biggest star on earth, bro.
Yeah, Ray Leonard, he was real big too.
Yeah,
He used to have billions of views back. They say like a good fraction of the world watched his Olympics. Like I
for
don't think
real.
I think boxing is just too far gone to like really get that big
Yeah,
again, man.
maybe it is. We can only hope and wish that it will be. But I still love boxing and everything, but it definitely watered down from what it once was.
Yeah. And like the so-called stars, like Canelo was on the right path for a while till I guess like a little bit after the Floyd fight, but like the star usually was like going after belts and stuff too. Like now they saying fuck the belts and all that. Like I think that's kind of hurting the sport, man. And there is like probably too many belts, just 5 belts a division, but
You can
still,
criticize the belts, but you can't say fuck the belts. Like the belts don't matter. That the belts definitely matter, and I think maybe you can make a case they matter more now than ever before because it like who are the guys that we really respect in the sport right now? The guys who have unified belts, right? Like
mm,
Crawford. Crawford's like way at the top of my list right now because not only is he American, and this is the thing, the heavyweight champion was always American. That helped the sport. You know, ever since it hasn't been an American, like the sport doesn't have quite the same attraction to American fans. But at least Crawford has, you know, established himself in two different weight classes where you cannot say anyone else is a champion. He's the undisputed champion. You had Jermell Charlo, you had Nui, you had various guys who have really stamped it that definitely are Hall of Famers. Where Tank and Ryan and people say belts don't matter, they're they're not Hall of Famers yet. They got to win some titles. Maybe the reason why Ryan says belts don't matter is because he never had a fucking belt. Like you got to think of it like that too. Like I think belts actually matter more because they're saying that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's why he didn't fight Devin Haney. Whatever, like 4, 5 years ago, when he was his mandatory, and he kept pulling out the position because he's so worried about the money with Tank. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like everybody trying to get the big bag before they
Chasing the
take
payday.
that 50-50 fight. You know, because if you get in the 50-50 fight and lose, you're not gonna get the big payday. So because the cash cow gonna be like, oh, you lost. Like, why am I fighting you? Man, it's just a big mess. But you know, I'm gonna watch regardless. But you know, I'm gonna have my complaints or whatever. But I'm always gonna watch. You know, I grew up watching boxing for real. My family of cookouts and stuff for boxing fights growing up. So I'm always gonna be there. But it just is what it is nowadays.
Yeah, you still love the sport, but you recognize like it's not what it once was. Even when we were
Mhm.
kids, I don't know how old you are, but it was more, it was more solid when I was a kid than it is now. It's like ridiculous now. It's just more and more watering it down.
Yeah, that's even worse than the Floyd and Oscar era. Like you say, man, Oscar, he was that dude, cash cow, money wise, and he did fight everybody. To be honest, like the people, whatever people he didn't fight, he just wasn't enough time. He was like big fight, tune up, big fight, tune up, big fight. Like I don't know. He got 6 losses. I guess these guys they don't want losses or whatever. And I think Tank, man, if Tank did fought like every single champion from like 135, I don't know about 140 with Matias and like those killers up there. I think if he fought every single champion up there, he probably have a loss. But and it's the social media too. And when the fighter do lose, we shit on them, and make them disappear for a year and a half, 2 years. So ain't nobody really trying to go through that either. That's why, Haney took this loss. That's still you still look at the champions at 140. You got Pitbull, you got Matias, and who's the other champion? Them all good fights, man. It ain't no guarantee he can collect all those belts, especially after taking that damage in the Ryan Garcia fight, man. So it ain't no telling what Haney's gonna do. I don't think, because that's why, man, he was so thirsty to fight Ryan. Too thirsty. All money ain't good money. When Ryan weighed in at 143, he was better off just pulling out the fight. If Ryan would have pulled that shit against Tank, Tank wouldn't fought him. If he ain't weighing at 136, that fight would have been off. And you
Yeah,
know,
Devin was thirsty for those fans. He wanted that. He thought Ryan was a joke and he could just beat him no matter what. I think this is my opinion, not fact, but I think he was thinking like, I need to get that audience. If I beat Ryan and his fans are all watching, then I'm gonna get some of those fans. But he would have had to really beat Ryan, like, and letting him come in heavy like that was a big fucking mistake. You should have just been like, nope, sorry. done. Like, I'm not fighting. Like, you didn't make
And
weight.
he took the money. He took 500,000 per pound.
He was
He
cheap
wanted that
thirsty.
1.5 extra million.
Yeah,
You know,
and he
it's
got
all
it,
money and
but he
good
also
money.
got a broken jaw, and now, you know, who knows if he'll ever be the same? Because he took a beating, bro.
I didn't even really want that fight, man, because they were talking about Haney and Matias. I thought I wanted the Matias fight, man, but I guess Ryan, being the he's kind of the second cash cow behind Tank, man, and and them guys point you out. Everybody just drop whatever the hell they doing and just fight them, man. Like,
I mean, Matias is high risk, man. I think Matias would would have beat him that night. Had he come in like that with
I
Matias, I
mean,
think
yeah,
Matias would
yeah,
have
it
taken
looks
him
like
apart.
that. It looks like that after what happened, but shit, I don't know, man.
Yeah, hindsight is 2020.
Yeah, but before that Ryan fight, I didn't even want that fight, man, because Ryan just got beat by Tank and all that stuff, and then just 143 when he fought Duarte, and I just didn't feel like he even deserved a title shot like that. But since he brings so much money, Haney just dropped everything he wanted to do, and he just took the damn fight, and that's just on him. It is what it is, because I just it was after Tank beat Ryan. Haney versus Tank was the fight to make. As far as like money, I kind of wanted that fight for Tank too, because Tank would be fighting for a real title, fighting a former undisputed champion who's now a WBC champion at the next weight class. You know, that would have been legacy for Tank. And if Haney would have got past Ryan, that fight probably would have been, you know, uh, this year or probably early next year. But it is what it is. Because even if even if Ryan gets to fight uh, a no contest and all that, like you still took the damage. Like nobody wants to see Haney versus Tank no more.
I was
And
just thinking that right before you said it. I was like, yeah, like you're kind of right. He should have fought Tank, but now he can't really fight him because whether it's him or Tank, like people want to see him come back and how he's gonna look before he fights Tank now. And if Tank
probably
beats
not
him,
ever, man, because people just gonna troll and be like, "Oh, you lost to somebody Tank beat." Well, ain't nobody
right,
want to
right,
see no Tank versus Haney no more.
right, right.
Tank versus Shakur Stevenson is the fight now
Tank
at
versus Tank
135.
versus Haiti should have happened at 135. That should have happened.
Yeah, he should have caught him. He should have, cause like I say, man, when Tank say he want to fight you, they gonna drop everything and make that fight, man. He should have like got on him. Like I don't think he could have got Haney before Loma, because Haney was on that 3-fight deal, so he had to fight Loma. Right after that, you could have probably stopped him from moving up to 140 and got him right there. You know, but
I think if Haney had stayed at 135 and fought Shakur and Tank there, that would have been, that would have put him up there in the lightweights of all time. I'm not saying he would have been the best lightweight of all time, but if he had beaten those two guys at lightweight, it would put him in the conversation.
mm, yeah, but I don't know, man. How you think Tank? You think Tank could collect all the belts at 140 if he really wanted to? Because Pitbull somebody who he already beat is a champion. Um, I
Haney.
mean,
Haney's still a champ. I mean, is it
yeah.
like because they're probably going to convert that to a no contest and give the belt back to Haney, right? And then you got Matias.
Now you remember he never lost the belt because Ryan didn't weigh in at 140. But still, Haney still got to rebuild. He probably gonna have to fight Sandor Martin next. He's been mandatory. He's been waiting uh, since I think Haney beat Regis. Before that, matter of fact, because he stepped aside to let Haney fight Regis. I think so.
Yeah,
I
and
think most
honestly, for
likely.
Haney, I think that's the best fight for him at 140 because he needs to rebuild, like you said. Like he shouldn't be stepping in there with a Tank or a Matias right now. That's for damn sure.
Mm,
Really, what should happen, honestly, in my opinion, is he should rematch Ryan and beat him. Make Ryan come in at 140 and have the strictest drug testing of all time, beat him, and then fight Sandor Martin. I don't know, some or one or the other, first or second, and then move on to try to unify with someone else.
it don't look like Ryan can make 140 at all. Like he hasn't made the weight since he moved up to 140. I think he made it
Well,
like
he made
one
he made
time.
130. He made 136 against Tank. So I mean, he's capable of making the weight. He's a young guy, but the problem is that kid isn't a full time boxer, bro. He's a social media guy. So like he's not disciplined. He's never had a title. Like I don't understand why he's even a big name. If it wasn't for all his Instagram followers, he wouldn't be shit. Like he's not the next Oscar. Oscar had a gold medal by the time he was that age. He had multiple titles. He was fighting everybody. Ryan is a joke to me compared to like an Oscar. Um, the best fight for Tank, I think, at 140 is Matias. If he can beat Matias, man, and I think that's a great fight, man. I think I would love to see that fight. I think that's a good style matchup. I think, Matias coming forward with volume and pressure where Tank likes to, you know, counterpunch and pick his spots. I think that's a great fucking fight. But will Tank fight a Matias who doesn't bring money to the table really? You
Yeah,
know,
that's gonna
that
be the
that's the
excuse.
problem. That's the problem with boxing, dude.
And Matias just left PBC. Matias with the zone now.
Right.
He
So,
finna fight. He finna fight Liam Paro his next fight, whenever that is.
yeah, man. I
So I
think I
don't
think
think
I
Tank and
think Tank
Matias will
Tank
ever.
Matias is probably the best fight we could ask for at 140 right now. I know promotions and all that, but like, man, that would be a great fight. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him probably rematching Pitbull too. Yeah,
That's
because
not bad, but he already beat the guy, so
yeah, Pitbull looked like real good at 140, man. The way he handled Rolly like that, Pitbull looked like a problem, man. He looks stronger. Uh, that chin is just. He might have the best chin in the division already. Like Rolly was hitting him with everything, man. And Rolly ain't no soft puncher, but he was eating them shits, man. Like Rolly was in that bitch fighting for his life, man, and he didn't deter Pitbull not one bit. Pitbull is gonna be real exciting to watch at 140 going forward. I really hate that Matias left PBC because can you imagine Pitbull and Matias?
but can you really blame him though? Were they pushing him at all? They like Matias is like the forgotten guy at 140. The guy's had a
Yeah,
title for a long time. Like he never gets any publicity. Like I just don't understand. You got a Puerto Rican champion Puerto Rico has a big following in boxing. I'm half Puerto Rican. My mom's from there. I know that's like, okay, we've been talking about um, boxing isn't a top tier sport in the United States. In Puerto Rico, it's like the second biggest sport, if not the biggest. So you got a huge rabid following of Puerto Rican fans. Why are they not promoting this fucking guy? The first Puerto Rican champion, I believe, since Cotto.
Yeah. Hey, you know why? You know why I heard he left PBC? They offered him welterweight fights. They offered him to fight Boots and Stanionis. Like he pretty much had to leave.
Yeah, why not unification fights at 140? That's where he's at. Establish him at 140, like that's a big lucrative thing. Like having the next Puerto Rican star is, it should have been a priority for PBC, but they're more focused on Tank, other things like that. Yeah, it's unfortunate, man.
Yeah, PBC, they strictly about the money. I could tell because they made sure they did Tank versus Ryan before they did Spence versus Crawford. Like that's kind of what held up Spence versus Crawford too, to be honest, because they wanted to do Tank versus Ryan first. Because they felt like it wasn't enough money in Spence versus Crawford.
Well, they've been scrambling because they don't have money. They keep losing all their shit. They overpaid everyone at first, and then they were thinking it was going to take off. Like, I don't know, man. The
Yeah,
business models of PBC and DAZN to me have sucked since the very beginning. I wish
yeah, the
HBO
zone,
would come back with like
yeah, the
fresh
zone with the
commentators.
Canelo protection thing. Canelo had a 10 fight deal, and he barely fought anybody. He in there collecting 40 billion, 30 million, fight Yildirim
Yeah,
and all that.
yeah, and also look at PBC. They've paid Canelo, you know, tens of millions of dollars too. Like all the money that the zone and PBC had is in Canelo's pockets right now.
Mm. I liked the plant fight though with PBC. I think that was like probably the most
You mean
danger that they put him in.
Canelo and Plant,
Yeah,
the Canelo
yeah.
fight? Yeah.
I thought Plant had a good chance, and they paid him big for that fight too. I think that was their first fight they had with Canelo because Canelo, when he went on that undisputed run at 168 on the zone, three belts
I
was on the
thought
zone.
I thought that was a cross promotion. I think that Canelo was still with DAZN when he fought Plant, wasn't he?
No, I think that no, the zone contract he didn't do the full 10 fights because you remember they tried to knock down his pay because they claimed that they were losing money, and then they Canelo went and got a 1 fight deal with PBC. That was all PBC. Canelo versus Plant. They gave him like 40, 50 million plus all that Mexican TV rights and stuff. Yeah.
Canelo's collecting all the money that DAZN and PBC, really blew it. Both of them to me because what both of them started off with a huge influx of capital from investments, right?
Yeah, they said the zone had like $1 billion or something like that. Couple
At the
billion.
beginning. And same with PBC. They had that, I forget, the Waddell and whatever Reed was it? Money.
Hmm.
You know what they
Yeah.
should have done? They should have bought all four sanctioning bodies with that money. They could buy all four sanctioning bodies and control boxing. But instead, what they did was DAZN try to create an app that costs more than Netflix, and all you get is boxing and fucking darts. And then PBC did time buys on network TV, which was stupid. It's like an infomercial where you're not selling anything. You buy time on a network, and you're not selling anything to get the money back. So bad business models, like with all that investment money. If you look up how much the sanctioning bodies are worth, they could have bought all the sanctioning bodies, or at least buy three of them or two of them. You know, and
Yeah.
then you have kind of a league. Like, let's say PBC had come in with all that Waddell and Reed money, and they bought the WBA and the IBF, right?
Yeah.
They'd be in control of those belts now, and it would be part of their organization. If they bought all four, then you got boxing basically by the balls.
Yeah, and then the zone tried that pay-per-view is dead thing. That shit bit them in the ass real quick.
And then they started doing pay-per-views.
Yeah, because they was giving Canelo all that money and then they were free for like a year, but they started that money wasn't adding up. They like, nah, you got to pay for this on top of the subscription, and that pissed a lot of people off. And then you know, it just everybody want to have a big star on their network. Oh, look at what we got. We'll pay anything for them. Not a bite in the ass, man.
It's short-term thinking. Short-term thinking.
Hmm.
I
That's
won't
why
even.
I'm glad. That's why I'm glad. Turkey Al Sheik around now. That motherfucker pocket's real deep. You
Yeah,
know.
and look, he's not trying to make money. He's just trying to create, like, for the future. See, that's what I'm talking about right there. You
Yeah,
can't
because
be
I
put.
heard that he's sick. You know, he probably don't have too much long left on the earth, so he wanted to see the fights that he want to see, and he's willing to pay anything for it.
Yeah, have some fun, like, and not only that, by doing that, he's establishing like something that he can pass on to maybe his sons or whatever. That's a beautiful thing. Like, you don't just think about, okay, well, I need Canelo because Canelo's making money right now, and I'm going to pay him all my money to come fight on my platform. That's a recipe for disaster, because after 3 fights or whatever you sign him for, he can go anywhere he wants. Then what are you going to do? You wasted all your money on this guy, built his name, and now he's gone. You're
Mm,
screwed. But this,
yeah,
what
Turkey
Turkey
Al
Al
Sheik
Sheik,
made.
he got the pockets to do that, like to establish like a legacy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this like his first year around. He made Fury Usyk. He made Better Beef and Bivol. Probably if it wasn't for Turkey Al Sheik, that fight probably never was going to be made. The way Bob Arum was talking.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, because he can afford to lose some money to build something for the future. That's the thing.
I don't give a damn what time the fights come out. If it's a fight I really want to see, I'm scheduling around that. Cause Turkey Al Sheik, like his cards be like 3 in the afternoon for like us in America and stuff. So
He's not worried about us.
hmm
He wants to watch that shit on his time, bro.
yeah.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we can turn a little corner with Turkey Al Sheik. Better Beef done got hurt, man. Man, I knew that jump was just too good to be true. I knew something was gonna happen.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Hopefully, they reschedule it. Have they rescheduled it or no?
No, Bivol finna fight somebody. He's still finna be the main event. He fighting this undefeated dude that nobody heard of. And he's still gonna be the main event over Wilder saying,
Yeah, I hope he doesn't lose, man. That would be fucked up.
oh man.
If he loses as undefeated guy, bro, we're never seeing better beat Bivol. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, that fight should have happened 2 or 3 years ago already.
But
But
Bob Arum wanted Bivol to come to ESPN somehow. And you know Bivol was locked in with DAZN. You know damn well that man couldn't get over there. That's all. Bob Arum just kept standing on that. So if it wasn't for Turkey Al Sheet, that fight wasn't finna never get made.
yeah, well, I think Turkey El Sheik is a good thing for boxing. I think if I could talk to him, I would tell him to buy as many of the sanctioning bodies as he can, and then he could control boxing. Fuck it, let him
Yeah, I
control
think
it.
I think he's the one. I think he's the one that's trying to pay for Canelo Crawford too. You know, I respect the fight. I'm a watch it, probably buy it, but I'm not really too crazy about that fight.
I mean, I like it as like a throwback to Hagler Leonard type of fight. You know, like let's see who's really the best, and these guys are in different weight classes, and you know, I like it from that sense. I don't like it because it's going to be an excuse to duck Benavidez. But really, Canelo's the ball is in Canelo's court. He can fight whoever the fuck he wants, bro. He can fight Jake Paul. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, of course not, man. I see. I want Canelo Benavidez because after that, then I think Benavidez would give Morrell a shot, and them two they probably would have to go overseas to Turkey Al Sheet too. David Morrell, Turkey Al Sheet needs to learn a little bit more about David Morrell.
But see, Morrell versus Benavidez could have happened already, man. They were in negotiations and everything. Like they both. Well, I don't know about Morrell, but I know Benavidez didn't take that fight because he's just banking on that Canelo shot, bro. And he didn't want to
Yeah.
take a chance, a low risk. I mean, I'm sorry, a high risk, low reward fight against Morrell. That's the problem. Like you're
hmm
sitting
He
around
want the
waiting for.
money before taking
Yeah.
the big 50-50. Everybody's doing that, man. All our favorite fighters doing that. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that Bud did that, but everybody else that and they want the money before they fight the toughest fight, you know what I mean? I peeped that a long time ago, especially with Spence and the clean up his side of the street thing. He made sure he made all the money he can and collected the belts as much as he can and get as much leverage over Crawford to make as much money in the Crawford fight as he can. But shit, seeing how that fight played out, shit, I really don't blame him. I think if that fight would have happened, I think if Bud would have fought Spence instead of Jeff Horn when he first moved up, he probably would have fucked Spence up. So I probably don't blame Spence for doing what he did.
Well, I think what you just said was probably Spence's best chance of beating Crawford. If he had taken on Crawford right when he moved up, there was a chance. First of all, Spence was way fresher at that time. He hadn't been, I don't think, through the windshield
Yeah,
yet.
yeah, no, none of that happened.
Right. So the best thing he could have done was either like what Floyd did to Canelo, catch him early, catch him right when he's moving there, or you know, I don't know, man. After that, I agree. Crawford probably could have beaten Spence at that time, also, but Spence would have had a way better shot, bro.
Yeah,
If he had
only
fought him
only
right when
person
he
that
moved
he
up.
probably should have like stalled Crawford for, like probably Keith Thurman. He probably should have fought Keith Thurman after the he got his Manny Pacquiao fight. You know, because out of everybody Spence fought at welterweight before Crawford, none of them styles is gonna help you prepare for Crawford. You know what I mean? Like who he never like he wasn't fighting southpaws. See, that's another thing these promoters be messing up with. You see this guy is coming up and he's like his nemesis. Spence fought one southpaw in his whole career before Crawford. He ain't fought nobody with the footwork or nothing like that, like Crawford before he fought Crawford, man. He was doomed from the start.
Yeah,
And I think
the
they
problem
probably
with
knew that.
Crawford is, like you said, you can't really prepare for him because let's say he comes out southpaw and you just came off beating Manny Pacquiao. You know, if you hadn't flown through a windshield and fucked your eye up, let's say you just beat Manny Pacquiao, who's a fast southpaw, and now you're fighting Crawford, so you just fought a southpaw, and then you start beating Crawford up as a southpaw, and he switches to fucking orthodox. Okay, you can't
Mm,
really, like you said, you can't really prepare 100% for Crawford. You got to prepare. I mean, I guess Boots, does Boots switch like Crawford? I guess, but maybe if you got
yeah,
him as
but
a sparring partner.
Boost wasn't on the scene like that.
No, I'm just
The
saying is
two
like
fight
to prepare, like as a sparring partner. Like I guess maybe he can help you, but he doesn't fight like Crawford anyway.
yeah. Like Spence, like he should have fought Thurman and Manny Pacquiao to prepare for Crawford.
Yep. But
He
you know,
ain't
you have
fighting either
too
one of those
many
guys.
hangers on in your ear telling you you're the man. No one can fuck with you. You're a beast. You know what did he say after he flew through the windshield? I'm a animal or something. Like, or
Mm.
he's like,
Yeah,
I'm
and
made of
like
steel.
promoters, they don't match up guys like against their weaknesses. You know what I mean? That's kind of probably why if you did put Jerron Ennis in there with Crawford, he probably get knocked out because Boots fought Karen, right? He looked it bad, so that means that he struggles with movers. He hasn't fought a mover ever since. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he really ain't ready for Crawford, to be honest.
Well,
But
isn't Boots still at 147 too?
yeah,
Or what?
he got the IBF belt. So Crawford got three, Boots got one.
Yeah, but
So
only because the IBF stripped Crawford.
yeah,
Like,
they stripped
yeah,
Bud like 2-3 months after the fight.
yeah,
You know,
IBF is always the quickest one to strip. But then
yeah, they
I
stripped
don't
Bud
know.
at
Don't get me started on
142.
the fucking IBF. Ugh. But yeah, but so okay, so Boots has a title at 147, but Crawford's clearly moving up to 154. So, you know, I think for Crawford, the easiest thing to do is just wait until Boots moves up to 154, beat him in his first fight at 154 before he has a chance to adjust. Same thing we just said about Spence should have fought Crawford when he first moved up to 147. That was his best chance of beating fucking Crawford. He was fresh, he was on top, he was beating everybody, he was strong. Crawford's moving up to a new division. Like, that's when he should have taken on Crawford. And I think Crawford's smart enough to do that with Boots. If Boots ever moves up to 154, catch him on the like first or second fight at the division.
But Bud, you know what Bud say about Boots? He ain't got nothing to offer and all that. Bud Bomac saying that. It don't sound like he gonna fight Boots at all, but Bud's legacy is already set. He's finna try to. If Bud don't get the Canelo fight, I think he's finna like campaign at 54. Because if he beats Madrimov, he got one belt, and if he fights Fundora, that's two more belts right there. If he gonna pick Fundora over Boots, you know.
Well, I think Bud is on a mission to get 3 weight class undisputed to solidify himself as like the guy of this era, and I think that would. So he could do that one of two ways. One is taking the Canelo fight and beating him at 168, then he gets all four in one shot. Boom. No one will ever touch that, bro. Then he could even, if he wanted to, move down and fight guys at 154 again and maybe do it 4 times. Or if he can't get the Canelo fight, he's going to do it at 154. And I think he can easily do it at 154, dude. I think he
Man, if
could
he
beat
beats
all the
Canelo,
guys.
he's gone. If he beats Canelo, he's retiring, man. He ain't
He
going for
might
no
take one more
4-time
fight for
undisputed.
he might take another fight just because once he beats Canelo, then he becomes the cash cow, that he's always wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Beating Canelo would be a big thing for him. I think he would take at least one or two more fights after that.
Who would he pick after he beat Canelo though? I don't know who.
Anyone he wants, bro. At that, and then
Nah,
he
he can't.
becomes
He can't go out fighting a tune-up. I think, man, that
Berto.
if he
He
moves
can't
up
go
and
out
beats
fighting a
Canelo,
Berto. Why? Floyd did it. He fought Berto in his last fight.
but beating Canelo is so much of a signature win, and Bud's already like 37. If
Well,
he
look
was
at
to get
look at
that fight,
look at Floyd. Look at Floyd. He beat Pacquiao and then he fought Berto in his last fight. Just
Alberto
for
was
that
right
one
after
last.
Pacquiao.
I believe so. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
uh,
can be done. Like, look, you can't say it won't happen, but I understand what you're saying. Like, it wouldn't look good. It didn't look good when Floyd fought Berto. I thought he should have fought, and he could have beaten
but then
fucking
they
Kell
had a
Brook and
little
been undisputed.
storyline. They was arguing about a chick or something like that. So it was a little storyline behind that. Man, he beat Canelo. Ain't no way in hell he gonna want to fight Boots. You think
Not
Boots
boots,
gonna?
but no. I'm saying if he beat Canelo, he'd be the 168 undisputed, right? I don't think he's going to stay up there. I think he'd move down to 154, 160 and try to get undisputed there too. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he just retires. Who knows? But bro, the guy
Yeah,
is
he's for sure retiring.
solidified.
He beat Canelo, man. Because you risking yourself to get Roy Jones, man. If you would move up
Yeah,
to
that's true.
168 and move, he's too old for that, man.
Yeah, that's
He's
true.
too
That's
old for
true.
that.
But I think if he, yeah, moving back down to 154, you're right. He is risking getting Roy Jones. But I mean, it's possible, but we'll see. I don't know.
But I
A lot.
think I think Bud's been 2-time undisputed. He hasn't really ducked no smoke in his career. I mean, he kind of has a right to go after Canelo. I don't
Yeah,
really
you can't
like
be mad at
feel
him.
like he's
You can't.
ducking nobody by going after Canelo. It is
I
what
don't
it
think so.
is, though.
I mean, you can make the case that Canelo's ducking Benavidez if he fights Bud, but Benavidez is at 175 right now.
Yeah,
Where, frankly, he should have been for a while. When he lost his title at 168 twice, I feel like he should have moved up then. They did offer him a fight with Beterbiev at 175, and he said no and stayed at 168. So,
yeah. He was like 21 years old back then. Ain't nobody. Al Heyman, he wouldn't put that young boy in there with a killer like that. Hell no. Beterbiev was like about
but
31,
see,
32 back
that's what
then
it
too.
takes. That's what it takes to be great. See, If he had gone up and beaten that, like, look, we'd be looking at him different right now.
And then that'll really scare Canelo off. That would really scare Canelo off. If he would have beat a fresh, prime, better beef at that age. Hell no. But hey, I appreciate you coming through, man. I'm about to just get ready to lay down for the night, man. I'm gonna try to get back tomorrow. There's a lot of stuff to talk about right now in this day.
Anytime.
You hear me?
Yeah, did you hear me? I said thanks for having me on, and I'd be happy to come back anytime, bro. It was a good conversation.
Yeah, yeah. What's up with Black? Black don't do no panels like that no more, man. I miss going on Black panel.
He pops up every now and then, nothing consistent, but you just got to be on the lookout, keep your notifications on. He'll pop up now and then. He did a panel, I think, like about a week ago. I jumped on for a second, but yeah, he's around still, just busy.
Yeah. But I'm gonna holler at you though, man. I'm about to chill out. I'm gonna holler at you next go around.
All right,
Appreciate
bro.
that.
Yeah, have a good one.
All right, you too.
All right, bye.